Alright guys, we're back. So I'm going to do the filter and the blower in one segment. And there's a slight change. I was going to do the bag filter, but I think I'm going to do that in a different video. Basically it consisted of this bucket, some safety latches, a flange to create the bag, and then the bag would extend down and you'd have an exhaust port. But to stay within the theme of this unit, we're just going to use another ammo box, and this is going to be both your coarse and your fine filter in one. Basically, unfortunately, I wanted to keep this handle, but we're going to have to cut it off to create an import. So you're going to have a port like this going in, and then a port going out. Now internally, to create our fine filter, we're going to add this here, and this is just a dryer vent. It'd probably be better if you can find this in steel or aluminum even, but I got plastic, so we're going to give this a shot. It should be okay as long as we don't overdrive it. But this will go on the inside, and then what I'm going to do is put a piece of felt over the top of this and then put a band clamp on it. What that'll do is that'll expand the area of where the gas is pulling through. Otherwise it'll be too localized and it'll just clog up. But before I do that, I'm going to punch a bunch of 1/2-inch holes all the way around this to give it even more gas to pull in, to expand that area around. And then our gas will come in here, and then we'll fill this with a sawdust media. I got plenty of it from processing wood for charcoal making. And then that'll create the fine filter side of this, and then the sawdust will be the coarse filter side. And then to do our blower, I got an Amtech blower here. Basically I'm going to create some threaded rod standoffs. This will get mounted just like this. I'm going to let it rest right on the bottom, and that'll give it stability so it can't flip over. And then what we'll do on this is we'll do kind of the same concept as we did with this. I'm going to use a smaller flange. This is just a 3-inch duck flange. You can find these on Amazon, eBay, McMaster-Carr, Granger. And then this will go on the inside like so, with a center port on the outside to put our adapter for the hose. And then we'll put a piece of felt, we'll strap a piece of felt to the face of this, and then that'll be the filter for our blower, so we're not pulling a bunch of crap into our blower. So I'm going to weigh all that out, drill all the holes, and then we'll come back and assemble. Okay, so I laid everything out. So on the back side, I did our big 4-inch duck flange. So that makes up these outer holes, but this is going to get mounted on the inside. And then let me just remove this a minute. So that will stay inside here like so. Where'd my little flange go? Aha! Yeah, so this flange will go here, and then we can put our adapter, screw it into our flange here. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble that, and then we're going to set this aside. We're going to do the blower setup next. So I'm using, I don't know if I went over this, but I'm using 1/4-20 button heads, 1/2-inch and 3/4-inch length. For this I'm going to use my 1/2-inch ones. You know what, and I think I'm going to put some sealant on it. Much as I don't like this stuff, The battery died. So I went ahead and built it, even put sawdust in it. So I'm gonna have to dump that out. Let me just show you what I did. Alright. So as you can see, I got the fault filter mounted in there, the adapter mounted, and then on the lid, I went ahead and installed the adapter flange to the lid for the intake, and I did seal all flanges, all three of them. Alright, so now this sawdust is from my chop saw. It's probably too fine, maybe not. More technical difficulties. Apparently I ran out of space on my SD card, so I had to erase some stuff. Alright, so where it cut off as I was filling this back up with sawdust. So as you can see, I got that full. Now chainsaw dust would probably work better. And then I created my attachment hose, which is, you know, you should be able to figure that out. Alright, so now what I'm working on is the blower. So this here is the intake flange, and I'm just bolting that up. Alright, so I'll go ahead and lock these guys down. Checking to make sure the camera's still on. Okay, so now I'm going to install my filter. What I was showing you is I just used the flange to create my circle, cut that out, and then when you place the clamp on there, it wraps around there nice. And this is just filter felt. You can find this McMaster-Carr, Granger, you know, Amazon, eBay. Plenty of sources to find this. This here is, I think this filter is on the 5 micron. So I'm going to go ahead and install this. Now if you notice, this has got 6 holes. I only used 3. So a bit overkill. And it's just a filter for the blower anyway. The blower that I'm using is a tusk blower. So it's been used and it's already got crud in it. We want to prevent that. That'll make it, you know, just give it longer longevity. because that one there has the aluminum body. You don't really need that one. It is more expensive. See if I got one available I can show you. These here got the plastic body. These are about $60–70. But you know, if you're serious about building a gasifier, you can't do this cheap. You gotta spend some money. You do it cheap, you're gonna have a cheap piece of junk. It's just the way it is. Okay, now inlet adapter. Okay, now to install the blower motor. Okay, so if you notice, I had to drill into the lid. So I'm going to have to cut that out, and then I'm going to have to cut some threaded rod to extend out of this to mount this guy on here. And this will mount on there like so. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and cut my rod, and then I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is thread on one nut. Now, depending on which blower housing you get, your cut lengths are going to be different. I use 2.5 for this housing, but I think the plastic one has this lower housing is longer. This here is a 1/4-20 rod. Equivalent metric would be M6. Which is probably what that's actually designed for. Okay, now you're going to jam the blower in place as well. The idea here isn't to crank that blower on here. We're going to use a sealant. That is actually what creates the seal, not forcing it onto this surface. We don't want to do that because then it will distort the housing. So So as you see, I'm putting a big thick bead of caulk around that. Actually 2.5 is a bit long. Might have been wiser to put this on first. So I'm just gonna finger tight. Try to apply even torque. Alright, so now I'm gonna jam them in place. See, I cut this out right here. Alright, so now we need to add our flare tube. Alright, so this is a PVC adapter. Actually, I forgot what size this is for. I think it's it's for 1.5 inch schedule 40, I think, PVC pipe. So fits pretty snug here. So we'll clamp that on there. Oh, it's right there. Okay, and then this here is just a 2-inch pipe. Now before I install this, I need to install some air holes to help mix with the gas so that it doesn't blow out. Otherwise it'll flare up here, and I want it to actually flare inside the pipe so the wind doesn't blow it out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're almost there. Alright, so I'm going to plug this guy in so you can see. Alright, so this runs on AC and DC, so but DC, especially if you're running at 12 volts, it's going to be pretty limited. I'm going to try it, but I don't know if it'll work or not. To run on DC though, you can you get a buck converter and convert your voltage up. You probably need about a minimum 48 volts, I'm guessing. But I'll try it on 12 volts direct and see what happens. It might actually work for this little guy. Okay, now one thing I missed is the air mixer. Now when we go to engine run, we're not going to put this here, we're going to put our mixer here. I'm going to like having it pointed up, that way I can physically see the angle of the valve. This is a butterfly valve, by the way. It's not a ball valve. Alright. Alright, so now we got our hose attachment here. Now this will go to our engine or the blower. So we'll attach it to the blower. So to get this thing fired up, you're going to need to pull a draft on it. So that's why we have this guy. And boom, just make sure you got this closed, and then you can, if you do the original jet situation, you'll just remove the cap and then light it directly. But how I have my setup, if you didn't notice, I did add an ignition port because there's no way I would be able to light it through here, through this system. And since I had two of these guys, I just added this and put a little pipe plug, with a little T on it. So that should work for getting this thing lit. Alright, so you take your cap off, fire your blower up, put fire to it, and then try to flare it off. Okay, now for your carburetor. Now, oh yeah, the reason I did this here is because you don't want this hanging off your carburetor. You'll bust the bolts off. Don't do that. What you're going to do is I'm going to try this. I haven't tried this actually. I just have this laying around. It's a small electrical enclosure. You bolt this to the face of the carburetor, and then you take one of these, punch this out, and then adapt this in there. You may have to cut some of the threads, but what you'll use is a conduit nut for 1-inch MPT, and that'll lock that on there. I'm not going to do this right away. I may later, but I don't have one of them nuts here, so I'm not going to be able to pull that off. So I'm just going to use my adapter. Let's see if I got one laying around here. Actually, do. So mine's kind of the same concept. Pull apart here to show you. Okay, so this mounts onto the face of your carburetor in place of the air cleaner, and then this has bulb seal around it, and this is fully welded, and then it's just a single bolt, just like an old school air cleaner on a car, and you lock that down, and then you can adapt one of these guys. Yeah, this is the earlier one. This is a male threaded one. The way we do it now is with female threaded ones. It requires a different adapter. It's all. So yeah, I think the next video will be the startup video. Alright, thanks for watching.